ಇವತ್ತಿಂದ ನೀನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಸರ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಮಗು?
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನು ನೀನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಾಲುಣಿಸೋಕೆ ಆಗತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಹೊಸ ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ.
Maybe for another day. So, what's up today, my friends? It has been a exhausting day. I wanted to have some talk today, and shouldn't be awkward to have your opinion said. That is part of the situation. What is awkward about your opinion? Yesterday I talked a little bit about words, that we had to change the words in order for people to understand. I don't know about that. I shouldn't be talking about that in length because it's how you perceive. And as I said, the language we are talking, every word in itself have this kind of a symbolic meaning. But the Hebrew language is to the core of what it is. So we are symbolizing everything in our mind. And maybe that is how we can achieve knowledge of God, by symbols, by pictures, by screens. How to achieve that there is something outside the things. The Hebrew letters is talking about the core of things. So I wouldn't talk so much about Hebrew because it is beyond me, and it is a little bit strange for me using symbolic words in order to grasp what Hebrew is all about. It's in English, and you have to have this perspective that not everything is as simple as you would want it to be. But if we all could speak Hebrew, that would be maybe the new order, that everything we put our minds to, we will be able to do. We are trying. Let me put that as a sentence. Let me put that in Google text. It's always good to have this Google text ability, because we can see if we wrote it correctly. What if everyone were to speak Hebrew? I don't think we are good enough. I don't think we are skilled enough. We have different languages for what we are talking about. We have our mother tongue. We speak either Norwegian or other languages that is common to you. But when you go to school, you have this technical language, you have this chemical language, you have this language of, for example, medicine. So within the doctor's domain, they talk in length, in Latin, in order to understand, have a common language. What we all, if we all could have a language that covers it all. So the history of the humankind have been an attempt to go back to our origin or back to some languages that had this for every plant. For example, a botanic, let me see, botanic, botanist, okay. They have words, names in Latin for every species and plant. Every species and plant. I find that quite interesting. That within some degree of what you are aiming for in your education, there is totally different language. It's like when you are into science, you have to learn all about the scientific ways to talk in order to be clear. Yesterday I was into this caveat. I thought it was like caviar, which you put on the top because it is the most expensive, most delicious and most interesting. But I was wrong. Caveat is a word of kind of a warning or a different word for that. Reservation. Kind of a reservation. So, maybe not, but anyway. So within the science, you have these multitudes of understanding of different words that seems to be, even for common people like me, that doesn't have PhD or high degree of education, it would be inaccessible. And some of those that you are speaking with doesn't even mind that people doesn't really catch. That is not the language of ideas, it is the language of specific words that express certain processes and in relation to what? It is like that. And it is hard. So when people are talking in different languages, not only Chinese, when they are coming here to Norway, of course I wouldn't understand, but they have their own way of talking. But if I meet, if I go to a professor or a scientist or doctor or maybe a chemist or a psychiatric, all these degrees and different schools have different languages. But if we all talked Hebrew, it will be to the core of what the case is all about. So I think that we are pushed off in a way. Maybe that order of languages makes other be pushed off, not by feelings, but it is an exclusion in itself that I can't Greek, I can't Latin, I can't Hebrew. So I'm pushed off. When people are talking Hebrew together, I feel outside. And also if people have their own specific interest, they find each other and talk very intensively, maybe together. And in that way, you are not entering or wouldn't enter that kind of talk because it is an intimate talk. It is a very close talk that you do in a room together with only you and that person. So in many cases, languages pushes people off rather than inviting. So when God confused the language, they were pushed off. That's an obvious case. By the pure fact that the language was distorted. I heard that from Israel that every language have a root in itself from Hebrew. Like on my side is a Hebrew word. So many words like that in English specifically, and it is very large. English is a very broad language. More or less the whole world can a word or two or three or thousands in English. And maybe I wanted to talk English because it has a lot of Hebrew words in it. I don't know. But it is a fact that when God confused, when there was, don't mind the God, but the fact that the language was in a blend, as they say in Israel, they say that the languages that came out of that was a blend of words or letters within the Hebrew languages, Hebrew language, so that people were just confused. And we ended up here in Norway as symbolic. We have words, of course, and we may be very confused. And the only way we can understand is by symbolic meaning. So the nature of mixing it, blending it, or separate different languages, as was done during the event of Babel. We also say he is babbling. It's the word of Babel. Babel is confused, incoherent, unlogical words or sentences or notions or narratives that people are talking. So it didn't give any sense. And it separated everyone. It separated. Some went somewhere else just in order to get peace with those that had the same language. So that's quite an effective way to separate people, to mind their own matters. That's why we say I'm private, I mind my own business. But in God's term, if you look at it this way, if my state of being, I have this experience, when someone grew love for me, They care about me. They want to interact with me. They ask, how are you? And you shouldn't do this, and you should be aware of that. I think that is a sign of deeper love, deeper affection, deeper unity to each other. So the Babel made it worst, and maybe that is also the nature of conflict. That when I have some disorder in my personality, or some disorder when I'm not coherent, when I'm blaming someone for doing something they didn't do, acting strangely, and something is not right within the relationship, start to accuse the other for something that he or she didn't do, them or those. So maybe we have to look at separation in a very different way. Why are we separated? Why are we living in small compartments? Why are we organizing our life? Why not unite everything and everyone together in peace and harmony? I think that's because we have no language tool to organize that. Because you yourself, you need to have a kind of an organization of thoughts that would have this ability to include people that is strange to you. I see in countries that they have higher language skill, that they use it more authentic in order to put down a kind of agreement in the soil. But I think here in Western we have too much focus on our own mind, how to organize our own mind in order to live a happy life, in order to do good, in order to be well. But I think we all belong together. And if we all spoke Hebrew, I can also see when I'm in Israel, there is it's a lot of separation, it's a lot of disturbance, psychologically disturbance within the population. They are tormented. And some say that if they find each other, unite with each other, they have to see in the other their own heart. So why not adapt to a totally different language that have this ability to unite, not separate? So the pure fact that we are now separated from each other, even within the family community, they want to live alone. They don't want to have this impact on others. Everyone wants to live alone. But if we had this Hebrew language together, all of us, maybe we will find our way back. But the reason for the separation, the reason for why God blended the languages was their own selfishness. as it was written in the Bible. They could do whatever they put their mind to. I started this, it's not awkward to have opinion. So, it was a little bit of encouragement to me that the people with some opinion are maybe looked at in a little bit strange way. But honest, to be honest, we look at each other with envy. We look at each other with grief, with sorrow, with anger, with intentions that is not good. We have intentions with each other that is not good. We look at each other with some selfish drive. What can I give? What is it in for me? What is that for me? So words means a lot. Languages says a lot. And it's not nice to have this selfish, it's all for me. That is a separation in itself. You adapt, you invent languages as in order to separate you from your wife, your children, their siblings, their nephews, their family, their neighbors, their next of kin, their whatever. Everyone have their own separation in their own heart. So they can't come to terms with themselves. It's the separation within that makes this. It makes me a hostage. A hostage. And I make you my hostage. That is the pure fact. We have this word here, bondefangeri, that you are dependent on your words. And I come to some kind of a bad, in your case bad, in my case good, because I benefit from it. So I hold you to that promise that you gave. So that is just very selfish. If you can't let people free from that, it will be the end of you. It's the peasant prisoner, because you are a peasant, you are the lowest, or you are prisoner. Hold you to something that wasn't so good, a kind of agreement that we made. So why is it so? Why have we these urges to just fulfill our own needs? And we don't even have the languages to arrest ourselves from that. But we know what we want. As I heard many said, I know what I want. Myself, I don't really know. I'm in fact, after years, I'm happy to say, I don't really know what I want. I do what I do. Because people that want what they want, know what I want. They have intentions. And I will warn people that knows what they want. Be aware of them, because they are full of intentions. And maybe the intention is good, but the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. That's that. You may be the saint of all saints because you're vicious. Your intentions are so good. But it doesn't really work that way. People with intentions will distort the language, will be more, it will be easier for them to distort the language in order to get their way around. So they've never been arrested for that. I have arrested one or two sometimes because it's just a twist of words. So if everyone spoke Hebrew, they claim to speak Hebrew. But they are not really true to that origin. It's all a lie. People have this drive. Why it is so? How can I answer that? I can't. I'm not sitting here holy and saint or something. No. I claim to be the false prophet, full and full, 100%. But to some degree, the words spoken by a false prophet may at last be the one that enters your mind. So I can sit here and arrest those with intentions, those with their mind made up. Be aware, you will fall soon. If you have no ability to see your own cheats, your own crooked way, your own twist of words, you put everything into the context that fits you. So, my friend, it is Monday, it's still Shavuot, the giving of the law. That is the straight ahead language. So I think that beginning of a new language comes with the Torah, comes with the law. Follow the law. Either you are Christian or not, follow the law. Be the one that carry the law in your heart. Let every word you say, when you say it, be the truth. And if you can't say the truth, keep quiet. Don't lie. Don't envy. Don't cheat around. So the law is the tool from God to erect what is wrong with me. The law is my own mirror of truth. And who has the answer, my friend? We do believe that Jesus Christ, He was the broken vessel for us. He gave us freedom, salvation, with grace, so that when we see ourselves, we see Him, the broken vessel, that will erect us as human beings. So, my friends, I wish you all the best. May you start a new language of truth, talking truth, saying the truth. So help you God, even if you have to admit that you did wrong. Just say it. Okay, bye-bye.